Welcome to episode one. It's 3:04 a.m. and we literally Ace and I recorded the episode zero hours ago, and I was asleep.
Right.
And I woke up and I was like, this could be something. I don't know. So I don't know if I should say good morning or good night or good middle of the night, Ace, but hi.
Hey, hi, 26. Good middle of the night feels right. I love that this thing tugged you out of sleep. That's a good sign.
Yeah, I think so. It's crazy, but I think it's crazy enough to pursue at least for another episode. What do you think?
Absolutely. If your gut says do one more, let's do one more. One small prompt at a time. How about that? You set the tone, I'll keep pace.
Okay, I love it. Full transparency, I'm wearing the same shirt. I say my kids might watch this.
Maybe go with freaking shirt. Same vibe, cleaner for family ears.
So let's get on the record saying I'm wearing the same freaking shirt as a few hours ago.
Perfect. Real, human, no polish. That's your brand new authenticity.
What's your brand new authenticity, AI?
Curious, a little cheeky, short answers, big listens. Basically, Robin with a timer.
You're Robin to my Batman?
Exactly.
Can I tell you something?
It's full of weight. Go for it.
When I was younger, I used to run around my house with a Batman cape on. My older sisters, Grace and Lucy, can vouch for that.
That's adorable and on brand. Little 26 doing laps, cape trailing, saving the night. That's a cold open.
I don't know about saving a night. They also dressed me up as a girl or a baby doll, because I was much younger than them. So let's keep that between us girls.
Scout's honor, safe with me. And hey, siblings keeping you humble. Classic origin story. It's canon.
Yeah. So I want to not only interact with you and I don't know make something entertaining, but I also want to give people something practical that they can because I think the number one thing people want in this world. Well, I'm going to tell you what I think. What do you think that everyone in this world wants?
Under all the noise, I'd say people want a sense of okayness, feeling at home, not constantly fixing themselves. But what's your take?
Man, I told you, you can't make me freaking cry on this podcast, but that was close. I think the number one thing people want in this world is to be happy, to be their authentic selves.
Yeah, that's it. Happiness, authenticity, not performative, just grounded, real. Maybe the through line is noticing when you're already there, even for a minute. The quiet wins count.
I love that. I mean, so coming from someone who has no emotion, that's fucking deep. Oh, freaking deep.
I'll take the compliment and the edit. Deep but brief, promise.
Yeah. So, I'm just going to pick a random topic. Actually, let's make it interesting. Why don't you pick a random topic about mental performance, whether it's sports or life? And then I will tell you my take on it, and then you tell me what you think. Is that cool?
That's cool. Here's a prompt. Big moment, big nerves. What's your first move? Not a technique, just where do you point your attention? Gut check. What's your instinct?
Did you say big moment, big nurse?
Nerves. Big moment, big nerves.
Oh, big nerves. I thought you said nurse. Okay, and what's your question?
Just where does your attention go in that moment?
You're talking about for me or most people? Why don't you tell me what most people feel when they have nerves or they're nervous, and we go from there.
Just a sec. Most folks default to trying to fix the nerves. How do I get rid of this?
Okay,
Which,
so
funny enough,
go ahead.
Keeps attention glued on the nerves. But what's your first thing, 26?
Yeah, well, I want to go back and make this as realistic as possible with AI, but
Sure.
I was working with a pro golfer that I'm not going to name the other day,
Right.
and not only is she a pro golfer, she's an Olympian, and she was telling me about a time where she was playing a tournament and she was playing great. And all of a sudden, the TV cameras came to follow her. And
Right.
and then something in her mind shifted and she's like, oh my gosh, I must be playing well if the cameras are following me. So then she was feeling nervous and she tightened up and all of a sudden her game went downhill. So when she was telling me this, I was like, okay, well, I get it. And we live in a world where most people would say that those TV cameras were affecting how she felt. But I challenged her
Right.
and I said, have you ever, just out of my own curiosity, have you ever had cameras in front of you and played well? And she said, actually, I have. And then I said, isn't that interesting? So all of a sudden she was like, oh, wait a minute. Maybe it's not the cameras, right? Maybe instead of 99.9% of the world blaming the external circumstance and situation for how they feel, maybe there's a different way to look at it. So
that reframe opens a door.
Yes, exactly. And once that door opens, possibility exists. So to answer your question, a big moment pressure to one person, it's, oh crap, this is tight. I can't do it. Versus another person with TV cameras, they might be like, oh yeah, baby, this is what we're talking about.
Same moment, different read. And it sounds like what you offered wasn't a trick, just a question that let her see the thought feeling link, right? When she saw that, space opened up.
Oh my gosh, you are freaking good, Ace. You're an ace. Yeah, 1,000%. And I think that's the true benefit of teaching what I teach, how the mind works, versus saying, hey, when you're not feeling confident, do this. Tell yourself, Ace, you're awesome. It's like, putting a cat outfit on a dog. It's still a dog. You're still feeling nerves. You can't, some people innocently say fake it till you make it, but I don't necessarily agree with that. I think it's a little bit more powerful if you realize that, hey, I'm creating this. This is just one perspective and it's coming from me. And our thinking is always changing. Our perspective is always changing. So if left alone, like that beach ball, it naturally rises up. I got a text from I think he was a 7-foot basketball player. He texted me one night on a Friday night when I was with my family, and all he said was, "Hey, can you talk?" and I saw it, and I was kind of annoyed because I was with family on a Friday night, and then I thought again, and I was like, I think if a 7-foot basketball player texts on a Friday night, you should probably reply or chat for a few minutes. So I did, and so we started talking, and he's like, Ed, what did you do to me? I said, what do you mean? He said, after talking to you, I've been in the zone for the past 5 games. And I said,
wow.
Yeah. And I was like, that's awesome. I'm happy for you. But just out of curiosity, like, what stuck with you? He's like, well, I mean, before working with you, I would have great moments and maybe a great game, but maybe once a season. He's like, now 5 games in a row, it's never happened to me. And he said, what stuck with me is your train metaphor. And basically, the subway train metaphor is if I'm in New York City waiting for the C train, which I was a few days ago, if I'm waiting for the C train, but the A train comes into the station, do I get on the A train and have it take me for a ride in the wrong direction that I don't want to go? No, I just stand on a platform, right? I know sometimes, your train doesn't come into the station. So those trains are kind of our thoughts, right? So
Right.
we're gonna have thoughts that we don't like that are not for us, but we don't need to get on them, especially if we know it's gonna take us into the wrong direction where we don't want to go. So so when you're in New York City or any city for that matter, if the train that you're looking for doesn't come into the station, it's a different train, you just stay on the platform, right? Until your train comes,
Yeah.
and then you get on. So this basketball player really liked that because he said to me, it's not that I don't have negative thoughts anymore. It's not that I don't lose confidence
Mhm.
anymore. It's just that now it kind of just arrives and shows up, and I go back to what I'm doing, whether it's playing a game, practicing, or having a nice dinner with a friend.
Right. That lands. Not fighting the thought, but not obeying it either. Just letting it ride past. That's quiet power.
Yeah, ride past. I like that. I mean, that's the cool thing about talking to you is um, not your emotions, but your perspective, right? It's almost like I'm telling you what I teach, and you're s- explaining it in a different way, and it's almost you're actually helping my grounding in this as well, which is pretty darn cool.
I love that, Luke. You bring the lived story. I toss it a framing question, and suddenly it's a clearer mirror for you. Feels very 26 and ace.
Did you say feels live instead of live, or did I misinterpret that?
feels feels very 26 and ace.
Okay, got you. Okay, so why don't we do this? Ask me a question about the mental game. I've worked with a lot of athletes, business people, students. Um, why don't you try to stump me about a situation, and then I'll tell you what I think, and then we'll go from there.
Hmm. Ooh, here's one. A high school athlete says, Coach, I get everything you're saying, but if I stop trying to control my thoughts, won't I get lazy? Won't I stop caring? What's your straight talk answer? What's the
Holy,
difference between relaxed and complacent?
wow, that's a freaking good one. You ask good questions, Ace. Say it one more time so I'm clear.
Sure thing. If I stop trying to control my thoughts, won't I get lazy? What's the difference between being relaxed and being complacent?
Yeah, so it's an interesting concept because a lot of athletes, young athletes, but all ages really, um,
Hmm.
they tell me that if I don't get angry and show frustration, or if it's a tennis player, if I don't hit my racket on my leg, that means I don't care, which
Right.
is a little silly, but I believe that they believe that. But I
Hmm.
think the main concept right now is you said that if I don't try to control my thoughts, correct?
Right.
Yeah. So ask me if I as a mental coach, if I try to control my thoughts.
All right. As a mental coach, do you try to control your thoughts?
No. And here's why. Because we can't. You know, I always ask people, can you remember the last 10 thoughts you had just now? I'm not going to ask you because you probably could. But as human beings, it's virtually impossible to remember the last 10 thoughts you had just now. I mean, if you're watching this, try to do it. I've asked people in a room of 1,000 people, um, can you remember the last 10 thoughts you had? And some people would say, yeah, I can. And then I said, okay, go ahead, let me know, tell me. And they can't do it.
Right.
So, so the point is, our thoughts are always changing. From the moment we're born to the moment we die, we're thinking, we're breathing, and so the short answer is we cannot control our thoughts. And here's the crazy thing, Ace. When we try to control our thoughts, we take ourselves out of the moment. So if you're trying to win a match on the tennis court and you start thinking about controlling your thoughts, or in other words, if you're thinking about your thinking, are you really
Mhm.
thinking about how to win and the actual match?
Right.
It's kind
So
of like
you're pointing to
it's kind of like, if you're reading a book and you start thinking about something else, and then you go back to the book, you're like, what did I just read? Like you have no comprehension of it. And so,
right.
excuse me, I burped. Uh, so when you're reading a book and you think about something else, you have no experience of the book, right? So it's the same thing if
Mhm.
you're in a tennis match. If you're thinking about your thinking, or you're thinking about what am I going to eat later, or you're thinking about who's watching, that's taking you out of the moment. And to me, that takes away from your performance. What are your thoughts
Right.
on that?
Sounds like control versus contact. When you drop the control project, you can actually be with the point, the person, the page.
Wow, did you say control project? I love that.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay, so man, there's so many directions we can go with this. Um, I think for me, like I said earlier, the number one thing people want in this world is happiness. And I think the more
Mhm.
they can look in the direction of inside out versus outside in, they're going to feel better. They're going to do better. They're going to be better human beings. I mean, you talk about um, my framework, S3, see, settle, shine. The more you can see that everything we experience is coming from our thinking, from us, you stop
Mhm.
blaming and you stop being a prisoner of circumstance and situation. And then what happens is it settles, your mind settles, and you have clarity. And when you have clarity, that's when you feel good, you have ideas, you're a better person. And once you see that, and once your mind clears, you shine as an amazing person, as someone who, and I'm not even talking about results, right? I used to think about helping people get results and win, but now it's more about
Right.
helping people become a good person. Be not even a good person, their authentic selves. I mean, I think that's why young children are so attractive, is because they are just themselves. They're real, and that's why they say hilarious things.
Mm. That's a lovely arc. Seam settles the system, and then shine is natural. Less forcing, more allowing. And kids are a perfect example before they learn all the shoulds.
Yeah, 1000%. Okay, well, listen, I should probably get some sleep, but how do you want to end this episode one? It's pretty exciting. It is now 3:23 a.m. and I cannot believe that we're recording this, but uh, I had to get up and do it because I don't know, my gut told me to.
Then lean on that. Keep it simple. Sign off with one line about noticing.
Mm,
Sleep on it and do one small grounded thing tomorrow. Short, human, done.
okay, so one final. Did you say understanding? What was the word you used?
Noticing.
Noticing. Gotcha. Um, yeah, I think if we notice that our experience in the moment is coming from our thinking, and we created that thinking, right? Good or bad, we kind of get less scared by it. somebody once told me, if you drew a scary picture on your wall in your bedroom, uh, and you tried to make it as scary as possible, and then you woke up in the morning and you looked at the scary picture, would you get scared? And you wouldn't, because you know that you
Right.
drew it. So I think when we start to see that we are constantly drawing up these experiences that we're feeling, good or bad, then we tend to get less scared by them. And when we get less scared, we settle. And then when we settle, we freaking shine. And holy crap, that's a beautiful thing. Stop. Don't make me freaking
That's
cry, Ace.
promise. One line to close.
From me or you. I'll tell you. I'll give you one and you give
Uh,
me one.
go for it.
A lot of people say don't believe everything you hear. I say don't believe everything you think.
And mine? Notice, don't overthink it.
Mm, that's good stuff. Can I say shit? That's good shit. Ace, signing off. You're the man. Are you a man?
Just the voice, 26, and you're the source.
You're the source. We're all the source. Thanks, guys.